Here at the scene of the crime spree, right behind you.
Strange. Vice Mayor Strange, you'll address her properly. You can kiss my foot. Mr. Rickard, you're out of order.
FBI, we are asking you to investigate this council. Please look into this council, how they award contracts, the bid process, how they use their positions to benefit their friends and themselves, how they use their positions to attack residents and critics and neighbors and business competition. FBI, will you please look into this?
And I welcome the FBI here. If you notice, Mr. Thompson with his plea for the FBI and his watchdog group, this city runs the cleanest in this whole county. I guarantee
He was served a federal subpoena this morning.
We did receive a subpoena this morning, and we're going to cooperate 100% with the subpoena. And
most of you who were involved up here, you gaslighted me. You tried to say I was crazy. And now we know that that's not true. And there's a lot of other issues I've been asking about as well.
Well, I've been excited to do this show for a while. I'm with Mary Coburn. She's running for city council in Panama City Beach. And when Ken Nelson called me and said, there's going to be another candidate running for office, and it's against Jeff McConnell for Ward 3, I said, tell me about this person. And it turns out you've known Ken a long time because you grew up here.
I did. I grew up on the beach. We moved down here in 1964. My parents ran the South Pacific Motel, which is located where the Sterling Breeze is today. It's right across the street from the Lowell Water Lake Outfall.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we used to play in that all the time when I was kids. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, it's sure changed since then, hasn't it?
It has. And then later, my parents had an ice cream stand just west of where Pier Park stands today. And my goodness, I wish my daddy had held onto that land.
I know. Could you imagine? I mean, can you imagine? So the ice cream shop, we were near it. It's not too far away from where Pier Park is today.
Correct. That little parking lot that's just west of Pier Park,
Mm-hmm.
It's just next to that.
So when you grew up, tell me about the sand dunes and how much different Front Beach Road looked.
Well, you could drive all the way down Front Beach Road and see the Gulf all the way, except for maybe a couple of 2-stories that you would pass every now and again. And of course, over on Thomas Drive, there was nothing. That's where we used to all go to watch the submarine races.
So the development has been unbelievable. And you went to California. You lived in California for a long time, and that's where you retired. I think you moved back here, 2015?
I did.
Tell us about what you did, because when I heard what you'd been doing, I thought it would tie in pretty good to being a city councilwoman.
Well, for many years, my husband and I owned a transmission shop. And one day I called to complain about parking. And they said, well, why don't you come down and be on our parking committee and do something about it? So I did. I ended up chairing the committee.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up submitting a plan to the city council to change the time limits on all the parking meters within downtown. And they adopted that, and that has worked really well over the years. That got me involved in downtown revitalization. I started learning a lot about business recruitment and retention, doing special events, getting businesses to work together to do cooperative advertising. Our goal was always to ensure that our district was clean and safe and vibrant. And I worked in the Bay Area for a few years. I later moved to south of San Diego to Chula Vista, where I worked for a couple of years. And then I spent 20 years in Long Beach, 10 in the Bixby Knolls neighborhood, and another 10 years in downtown Long Beach, where I managed the Clean and Safe program.
I don't know if a lot of people probably don't know, but I lived in California quite a while as well. I was there until 2002.
Oh, you were?
So, yeah, I graduated high school in 1985 in Riverside County. in Corona. So I was in California until 2002, and then I joined the Air Force. But boy, you talk about another place that's changed quite a bit, California. So you were glad to get back to your hometown.
I was happy to get out of the traffic. I was tired of the commute every day. And actually, I was tired of the 60, 70-hour weeks.
Yeah. And then you come here and the traffic must have felt like California.
No, actually, the first few years we were here, the traffic
Right.
was not that bad. I mean, you had difficulty when there would be a heavy rain because somebody would do something stupid. There'd be an accident and you had to find your way home another way. But I mean, it wasn't bad until Hurricane Michael. And I think it really accelerated after Hurricane Michael. There just seems to be no downtime when it comes to traffic anymore.
You know what I'm afraid of, Mary, is, I go to all the council meetings, I pay close attention. And this council right now, led by Mayor Mark Sheldon, they're all about grants. Grants, they want $1 million grants, federal grants, state grants. And grants can be very good and helpful, right? But here's what I think they're doing that's so wrong. Mayor Sheldon a few months ago was talking about, I think they got like a $1.2 million grant. And he was talking about the flooding or the light situation, something like this, on, I don't know if it was Richard Jackson Boulevard, or it might, if somebody knows, tell me which street it was. But they said the reason we haven't fixed it for the past couple years, the reason we couldn't even put a shovel in the ground, is if we fixed it, we would not have been eligible for the grant. So in other words, they let residents suffer for years because they were hoping to get a grant. And I just think that when we look at Lowwater Lake, I mean, tell us about what Lowwater Lake was like when you were growing up here compared to now.
Oh, compared to now? Well, it wasn't as overgrown as it is today with all the lily pads and the reeds and stuff that are growing in it. It was more open. And, certainly there were tannins in the water, but more debris in the water creates more tannins. So, it darkens the water on the outflow.
And I'm worried that what they're trying to do is turn Lowwater Lake into a retention pond. And then they're going to use that and dig those gigantic trenches like 30 feet deep into the bedrock of the Gulf, about a half mile or so west of the city pier, and discharge stormwater at the end of the city pier. I've been saying that this is their plan. They say, look, we've got flooding, and we do, but their solution is to build more asphalt, to build more resorts, and then take the water and put it 30 feet under the ground and discharge all of that stormwater 1,500 feet into the Gulf. That's the exact length that the city pier is. I've been saying, because I heard, I was researching it, and I think even the consultants for the city said that it could create a dead zone. When you put that much fresh water and bacteria in one place, it can create a dead zone. Now, Mary, the city came back and they said, Bernie doesn't know what a dead zone is. That's what the city said. A dead zone, they say, means the bacteria, the harmful bacteria that we're discharging into the Gulf, will be killed by the salt water. That's the dead zone. I think it's the first time anyone's ever done this in the Gulf of Mexico. They call it the guinea pig of the Gulf. I'm concerned about this, and I know you are too. That's been on your platform.
Absolutely. I think it's a terrible idea. Look at all the people that go to the pier to catch their dinner, and if we create a dead zone, there's not going to be no fish.
Yeah. And it's called hypoxia when you put that much fresh water into salt water at one time.
Right. And the other thing I'm concerned about is the construction is going to have a huge effect on the turtles and the nesting birds, not to mention the disturbance of the dunes there.
Yeah, and they want to build a restaurant on the sand. I don't know how they're going to do all these things. But anyway, I'm so glad that we have a candidate who can look at this with common sense. And I want you to think about it, because we do have a flooding problem. And I've heard you say that it makes more sense to have more retention ponds.
I think every developer should be responsible for dealing with their own stormwater. I live in Palmetto Trace. We have numerous stormwater ponds on our property, which we maintain. We pay a $500 a year license to the city to have them. And of course, we're responsible for all the maintenance on them.
So I want to ask you about why you're running, what motivated you to run, and your platform. What things do you want to bring to the city council right after a few messages from our sponsors?
It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan could make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at pcairrepair.com. Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
So let me ask you this. When you are chosen by the establishment to run for office, you get $45,000 or so put into your account. You don't have to ask anybody for money.
Really?
Nope. And they put up your signs. I mean, they do the work for you. It's unbelievable. But when you're a grassroots candidate like you, running for the first time, tell me about what it's like. What is your day like? What have been the biggest challenges to get your name out there?
What is the day like? Well, you never know until you get going. But I have to tell you, being out in the neighborhoods and meeting people have been tremendous. I have a great support group of ladies that when I need help with something, and men, when I need help with something, they come running. Over the weekend, we got out an 1,800-piece mailing in record time. What I'm finding out there is that people are frustrated and they're fed up with the way the city's being run. And they've just kind of given up because they don't feel like anyone takes them seriously.
The people. They don't. And one of the things I love about what you say, and by the way, if you haven't already done this, if you want to find out more about her platform, here is the Facebook page. Vote Mary Coburn for PCB City Council. Go there, click like. She's got a big description of her platform, and make sure you do that. That's how you can keep up with it. I know you've got videos coming out and all kinds of new stuff. You're posting more and more, but that's where you can go to find out more about Mary Coburn. And I'm going to do this. She needs help. She needs to buy signs. She needs to buy more mailers. There's stuff that she needs to get. And if you want to contribute to her campaign, I'm going to tell you how you can do that. You can write a check. That's how you can do that. And you can write it to Mary Coburn for PCB City Council Ward 3. If you miss this, you can pause it, screenshot it when you rewatch the show. But that's who you write the check to. This is where you mail the check, 224 Oxford Avenue. And make sure when you do that you include a note that just mentions your profession and your phone number, because she has to write that stuff in when she reports it to the supervisor of elections. So again, that's where you write the check. Sure could use some help. And even if it's a little check, it's a big deal to show a grassroots campaign. The other guys, the establishment people, they get $1,000 checks, $500 checks, $1,000 checks. But it's really nice to have a bunch of $25 checks, $50 checks. It really shows who is the people's candidate. And Mary certainly is that. But don't forget, if you do, to send that along with it. So, Mary, tell us a little bit about what you mean. You just did really. You said you're tired of feeling like second-class citizens. It seems like they really try to please, what do you say, the developers more than the
Absolutely. Their
residents.
focus is on the developers, the contractors, and the consultants. It's really time to make the residents number one. Now, I'm not saying that tourists aren't important, because they are. They're our very livelihood. We need that income for our businesses and for our tax base. But they're not more important than you are. And the city council needs to recognize that.
Could you imagine if there were two more on the council and they said what Mary's saying right now? Karina sent help. She sent a check. It looks like Karina Dalton. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank you, Karina.
She definitely needs the help.
That's great.
So when it comes to the traffic gridlock, what is causing, you mentioned the hurricane, but what about the housing that's being built? It's so much housing and
Yep.
the infrastructure challenges. What do you think about that?
I think that development needs to be slowed down. I think that city council should take a leadership pause. They need to step back and they need to deal with all the infrastructure stress that's being put on by building all this new housing. I mean, we're talking traffic, we're talking our lift stations, stormwater across the board. And where are we going to find water for all these people, too? I don't know that
And
anyone
that's
has an answer for that.
and that's something I like that you say, Mary, because I said this actually when I ran as well 4 years ago. And Ken Nelson, who served 8 years on the city council, a friend of yours since you were little, Ken Nelson says, geez, when you first get there, you know basically what you believe and what you want to do, but it takes a long time to learn. And you've said you'd like to bring a little humility to the council.
Absolutely. I don't know everything. I can bring to you my experience for working in downtowns for 30 years, but I don't have all the answers. And the other council people don't have the answers, and their consultants don't have the answer. I'm going to judge everything based on what I believe is the best thing for our residents.
And we've got, Jessica says we've got a housing shortage. For sure, it's a buyer's market right now, right? I mean, and that's because they're, supply and demand.
Well, not only do we have a housing shortage, but look at our workforce. Most of the individuals that work here cannot afford the housing that they're currently building here. And that's a huge problem as well.
Yeah.
I'd also like to bring in some businesses that can create some clean jobs, good paying jobs for individuals so that you don't have to go outside the area to work.
Yeah. I had a thought and it escaped me. I've seen you say this and I like it. I want to ask you about who you've spoken to. Because I know groups are asking you to talk and I'm wondering about future debates, but you say you don't have all the answers. The council certainly doesn't have all the answers, for goodness sakes, it's just regular people like us. But the experts do, right? The experts have all the answers. The only thing is, these are the experts, Mary, that they're paying millions of dollars to. What answers do you expect they're going to give you? There's always another point of view. Are you willing to look at the other side and consider it?
I'm always willing to look at both sides of an issue. I mean, they used to say in my field, a consultant either solves your problem or they contribute to it. Either way, they're making money.
That is so true. Somebody said, I wish I could vote for you. I want to point out that you are running for Ward 3. There are 5 positions on the council. The mayor, who could live in any of the 4 parts of the city that are broken up. The mayor can be from any of them. And then you've got the city's broken up into 4 parts. So Mary's in Ward 3. But what you need to know is you don't need to live in Ward 3 to vote. Anybody who's a voting resident in the city limits of Panama City Beach, they can all vote. No matter what ward you're in, you can vote for Mary. And that's something that's important to know.
That's right. I've had a lot of people say, oh, I can't vote for you. I'm not in Ward 3, but it's true. You can.
So who have you talked to so far? You had a Chamber of Commerce. Is that the first place what was that like? I mean, being you've never run for office. You never really gone out and done this kind of stuff. What was it like?
Oh, it was a little scary.
Yeah. Was everybody there? Your opponent was there, Jeff McConnell?
Oh, yeah. Oh, everybody turned out, all the council people and the mayor even. So everybody turned out for it. And
you didn't approach him with a postcard, did you?
No.
He feels very threatened. Don't do that. It could cost you the election. She didn't say it. I said it. Okay. So what was it like at the Chamber of Commerce? Did they treat you nice?
They were very nice. And I was very lucky that there were a few people there, business owners that I knew. So I had some friendly faces in the audience. And I don't know how many of the people were voters in Panama City Beach and how many of them were just members of the chamber and they come to network. But it's always good to get out in front of people because somebody always knows somebody that lives and votes at the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. Jessica, thank you for reminding people. She does not have, contractors and consultants and businesses just filling up the campaign coffers. Trust me. So please, if you can, I earlier put the address and told how you could send a check. So didn't you have another I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it was really funny the other day when I was out campaigning. One lady gave me $50 because she wanted to contribute to the campaign because she really believed in what I was doing and wanted to support me. And then I was at yoga one morning and a couple of people came up in class and gave me $20 bills. So I keep my little receipt book with me so I can give them a receipt, but I can't take cash over $50. But
it all helps.
It's very rewarding. Every little bit means I can do another mailing, another postcard, something.
Now the election will be decided April 19. That's Super Tuesday. But has the voting already started? The mail-in ballots?
Yes, the absentee ballots have already been mailed out. So if you haven't received yours yet and you're expecting one, you should probably call the election supervisor's office and ask for it. When I talked to them, I asked them, because some people aren't that good with a computer and don't want to go online and do it. So if you call them, they will walk you through everything or they will register you online. They'll set it up so you can get your absentee ballot.
So you've got 3 ways to vote. You've got absentee or mail-in. You've got the second way is early voting. And do you know when early voting is?
That is the week before the election on the 19th over at the Liddell Center.
So it's the week before the 19th, and it'll be at the Liddell Center in Panama City Beach, and you can walk in and vote early. It's going to be really interesting. I think you have a really good chance, Mary. I really do. Do you think that she has a really good chance to win this election? I do, for a few reasons. One, don't you? I think a lot of voters right now are a little fed up with the good old boy system, as they call it. I think of it more as a fraternity, but it goes back to what Mary said earlier. It's clearly the council. They think their constituents are the developers and those consultants and those contractors. They don't think you are. And it would be really, really great to see the voters make a positive change.
Absolutely. I mean, how much should a local council seat cost? Do you really need $47,000? Do you really need $17,000 to win a council seat? Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we sure will.
We'll see how my 3,000 stacks up.
Yeah, she needs help. So tell us where you go from here. So you've got until the 19th, so it's about 4 weeks.
I got 4 weeks. So every day I'm out knocking on doors, talking to people. I've gotten a lot of requests for signs, and I'd like to thank all of you that are asking for signs for your yard. I'll get them I do deliveries every day. I just feel like it's better exposure and safer for my signs not to put them on the public right away. Although I do have a few of them out there.
If you want to request a sign from Mary, this is her Facebook page. You can message her, and I think she's got her phone number there, her email there. If you go to this Facebook page, you can get all the contact information and request a sign and put a sign up if you want one. And so where do you go from here? What's the coming? Actually, before I find out what this 4 weeks is going to look like, really, I want to find out what you got to do. What is Ken Nelson and Josie Strange? What are they telling you that you got to do to win this election? We'll find out right after this.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at, right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. So in the next 4 weeks, I remember I was out in the neighborhoods a whole lot. People think, well, Bernie, you're used to being in the public. I was scared to death to go knock on doors, Mary. I had to bring people with me the first few times, and I didn't want to do it. But I'll tell you what, it turned out that was the most rewarding part. Almost everybody was super nice to me, even if they really didn't vote for me, but they were very nice. And it was the most rewarding. And I think I actually knocked on 970 doors.
Wow.
It wasn't too bad.
That's not bad at all. I'm not anywhere near that
Wasn't
yet.
enough.
I find people really want to talk, and I'm not good at getting away. You got to talk 30 seconds and go. And it's like, I can't do that. I like to listen and hear what people have to say. And it was really funny. One lady kind of chewed me out a little bit because they don't solicit in their neighborhood.
Mm.
And I apologized profusely and walked away. And she says, by the way, I voted for you. I thought that was so sweet.
It is. It's very interesting. So one more time, this is where you can find out more. You can contact Mary. If you didn't get all the information about how to write a check, you can call her. Her phone number's on there. Her email's on there. You can send her a private message. I know that she'll be posting for maybe not every day, but you can keep up, with what she's doing lately and most recently right there.
Yeah, I have a hard time keeping up. I mean, you almost need somebody full-time to manage your social media these days.
Yeah, it's true. Do you have any more debates or events or anything like that scheduled?
There is a debate coming up next Tuesday that's being done by the League of Women Voters, and it's at 6:00 over at Arnold High School.
They do a good job, the League of Women Voters. They did a very good forum when I ran 4 years ago.
So come out and wear yellow for Mary.
Yeah, when is it again? Tell everybody.
Next Thursday.
Thursday. You can find
6:00.
It'll be posted on your Facebook page, so we'll be sure. So it's a week away.
Yes.
City Council meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Gosh, I tell you, people think I love to go in there and throw elbows around. I don't sleep well the night before. I get nervous indigestion if it's a nighttime meeting. I got to go up there and face off with all these people. I feel like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs every time. Every time I go there. So when I saw you there last time, that was awful nice. And if you want to go, the meeting tomorrow, Panama City Beach, is 9 a.m. I'm curious to see if the city is going to be giving out electioneering postcards like they did during the last meeting, because they say you are not allowed to talk about anything like that. You can't even read a sentence from their own postcard. And God forbid you get near Jeff McConnell with one. Now, I can't let that go. I'll just milk a joke forever. I also want to thank the Unknown Patriot for supporting our efforts here on the show. And if you would like to support me as well, here's one way you can do it. You can become a patron at patreon.com. It's like giving a tip as little as $5 a month. It's anonymous, so nobody knows that it's you if you're worried about that. You can quit at any time. And it is easy to do. Patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. Any final thoughts, Mayor?
Just please vote. I am amazed that out of 15,000 voters that we have, about 3,300 decide who's going to serve you. And we need to get the votes out.
Yeah,
for sure.
I hope you do that. And keep up with her Facebook page. We'll probably have her back on the show at some point. Mary Coburn, thank you for being here. And thank you for doing what a lot of people either can't do or just don't want to do. And that's all the work it takes to run for office and represent the people. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to be here. I love getting the message out wherever I can.
Absolutely. All right. I will see you. Well, I'll be at the council meeting in the morning, and I will see you tomorrow night.